This is once the best coaster in the state of Florida, but it still kicks some serious butt. Let's talk about that. What's up guys, Dr. Coaster here, and welcome back to another coaster review on the channel. Today we'll be looking at Mako at SeaWorld Orlando. For those that don't know already, these reviews don't follow super strict criteria, but I do take into account all aspects of the ride and its overall experience, and then rate it out of 10. Before we get started with the review, if you haven't already, go ahead and drop the video a like, as it helps me fight the YouTube algorithm. And subscribe to the channel as well for more roller coaster and theme park content just like this. Mako offered its first rides to thrill seekers way back in 2016. Is it me, or does that seem like forever ago? Anyways, I had the opportunity to ride Mako in August of 2021, and it left me with an unforgettable coaster experience, and a sense of extreme jealousy directed at all of the Florida enthusiasts out there. This B&M Hyper stands at a height of 200 feet, and you get every inch of that on that first drop. Mako then flies across 4,760 feet of track while reaching a top speed of 73 miles per hour. If you manage to visit on a slow day, you can really rack up some rides on a marathon of this coaster. Before we get into the layout, let's talk theming. Mako, like the name suggests, is themed after the Mako shark, which is fittingly the fastest species of shark in the world. The coaster itself is also built right next door to the Shark Encounter exhibit located at the park. When approaching the entrance to the ride, you'll pass through and around a shipwreck surrounded by elaborate coral displays. The queue itself doesn't feature much theming, I honestly prefer Mantis queue, but the station has one of the coolest dispatch sequences I have ever experienced. When boarding the train, there's a screen located above the riders with shadows of sharks swimming around. When the train departs the station, music plays, and the sharks take off towards the lift hill. While we're on the topic of the lift hill, let's get into the layout of this coaster. As previously mentioned, Mako features a 200-foot lift hill, and it's accompanied by with anticipatory music that builds up until the moment that you drop off of it. Mako is only the second B&M Hyper that I've ridden, but I cannot get enough of the floater airtime on these things. And that's not even my favorite moment of airtime on the ride. In fact, Mako features 9 moments of airtime on the ride, so the first drop is just an appetizer. You're then sent through a massive bank turn that dwarfs most coasters out there on its own. This turn sets you up for the rest of the ride, and down into my personal favorite element on Mako, the famed 5-second airtime hill. And yes, I counted every second of it, and at the moment is my second favorite element on any coaster that I've ridden. The ride is that intense, and it's taken so smoothly. The whole ride is. I don't know how I hadn't mentioned it already, but Mako is one of the smoothest coasters out there. Mako features sort of an L-shaped out and back layout featuring 2 turnarounds. The first of which is a hammerhead immediately following the 5-second airtime hill. After turning around, you hit sort of a make or break part of the ride, which is the trim brake. On the day I rode it, the trim wasn't hitting very hard at all, so I didn't have a problem with it. It still provided some excellent airtime the rest of the ride. I've heard that how hard the trim hits really just depends on the day. You may even get a trimless ride, only adding to the speed and airtime you'll get the rest of the way. With the trim, you'll conclude the first half of the ride and start to make your way back towards land, since most of this ride takes place over a lake, only adding to the beautiful setting of this ride. You'll then go through a small bank turn before being sent through one of the most unique elements on the ride, the speed hill. This is really the last moment of notable, insane airtime, with little bits sprinkled throughout the rest of the ride. The speed hill is a unique, relatively new element on B&M Hypers, with other recent installments being on Candemonium at Hershey Park and Shambhala at Portaventura in Spain. It's pretty hard to describe how this airtime feels, but it's an incredible sensation. Nothing crazy, but a nice added bonus moment of airtime. Right after the speed hill, you hit the mid-course brakes. Similar to the trim, this seems to vary by the day. I don't feel like it slammed very hard when I rode it, but I've heard that it can. It definitely slows the train down, but I've found plenty of airtime throughout the ending of the ride. And the slow speed really helps you take in the views of this beautiful park. To conclude the ride, Mako sends you back past the station, over the midway, and into a scenic turnaround at the edge of the central lagoon before pulling into the brake run. What a ride. Overall, there's not a negative thing I can say about Mako. It'd be great if SeaWorld could run more trains on a consistent basis, but I can't hold that against the ride itself. If you can't already tell, I love this coaster, and I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. Mako is currently ranked second in my overall rankings, and I can't wait to return to Florida in a few months to marathon it some more. Thank you all for watching. If you're interested in watching more coaster reviews like this one, then be sure to check out the playlist on my channel. I'm really enjoying making these, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on more of them in the future. If you want even more coaster content, I'm also over on Instagram, where you can follow me at Dr_Coaster. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.